All right, you fucks. Oh my God, you guys. Taco Bell is piloting this crazy Cheez-It thing. A giant Cheez-It, 16 times the size of a normal Cheez-It. That they're gonna use in place of like a hard shell, tostada shell, you know, like the circle, the taco shell. So they have a tostada and they have a Crunchwrap that uses Cheez-It, and it's only in one location in Irvine, California, which is an hour drive from my house. But you know, this is the only thing that brings me joy, baby. So I'm gonna be eating. Yeah. So okay. What they do is sometimes they pilot stuff at a few select locations. I thought this was a different one than it actually was, because in the past I've gone to a different one to try their fake meat. Anyway, so they're testing it out at this location. It took me a while. The drive-through was crazy because I got there like right at lunch. By the time I got out of the drive-through, it became a lot less crazy. So I was like, I probably could have just left and came back like 10 minutes later. Probably would have helped my sanity, but yeah, I don't know. I gotta try these before they go bad. They also had some other items. They had a mango whip kind of frozen beverage. I didn't go for that, but they have a crispy taco, like Del Taco has, you know, like a chicken tender taco. So I got one of those too, but let's see what's going on. So yeah, this is gonna be the tostada, I think. You can't actually see it at all. Oh my God, it's literally a giant fucking Cheez-It. You see, this is the best. This is the best thing I've seen in my fucking life. I don't care how bad it is because it's already lived up to my expectations. I'm actually really excited about this. I was really excited. And then I was like, man, don't get too excited, because if it's a letdown, and now I've gotten seasoned beef on my steering wheel. It smells like a Cheez-It. I expect it to be soggy. Still feels pretty hard. But yeah. The big Cheez-It is great. It tastes like a fucking Cheez-It. You know, it's thin, so, and then the seasoned beef has a pretty strong flavor to it, so it kind of masks a bit of the cheese. I'm gonna keep going and see if it gets more kind of Cheez-It-y. So yeah, the Cheez-It's in there, it doesn't get entirely masked, but it does get largely covered up. You know, it's a pretty mild undertone as opposed to, like, I don't know. I think what you want is almost the opposite, where you want most of it to be kind of Cheez-It, and then, you know, some of the Mexican food kind of undertones, or like maybe half and half or something. But it's closer to like 70-30, I would say. Not 80-20, a little bit more. But I think you want more Cheez-It out of it. The texture was cool, but, you know, it's still a hard crunch. It wasn't so crazy that, you know, it's like, this is blowing my mind. It is different in like a contrast way, you know, but I don't feel like the crunch of the Cheez-It is like superior to like what you'd get from like a tostada shell, right? But end result is you kind of wish the Cheez-It was higher on the flavor profile of it. You know, you got more of that, because, you know, when it just gets covered, it just kind of tastes like an alternate tostada almost. You know, it's just like, I would say I like it more than a tostada, just because I don't think I'd order a tostada normally, but it's not like head and shoulders better. What if this is crazy, but what if I just took all the stuff off and just ate the giant Cheez-It? So I tried to mostly scrape it off. This is what you get. Now that's what you want. It was just a giant fucking Cheez-It with traces of, you know, seasoned beef and stuff. Even dipping it's not like, it's still, the beef kind of covers for the flavor, because it's savory, it's salty, you know, and that's what a Cheez-It is. So it's like, what is the Cheez-It adding? And it's adding the delicious taste of a Cheez-It, of course, but the Cheez-It's not really thriving so much. Yeah, ultimately the Cheez-It is the best part. And you kind of just wish you could, they should just sell the big Cheez-Its with nacho cheese, and you can dip it in nacho cheese. Spicy ranch? I could see it with spicy ranch. That could be real good. But yeah, I mean, I love Cheez-Its, but it being big is like way better. I've even got the big Cheez-Its, and I don't really like those big Cheez-Its, but when it's that big, oh boy, that's what you want. Also, they said it's 16 times bigger, but that's like if a Cheez-It is a square foot and this big Cheez-It is 16 square feet, that's not 16 times bigger. It's 4 times bigger, you know? It's just 16 times more square footage. But I don't think that's how you really think about when you think about, oh, it's twice as big, you know, like, it's not 16, but, you know, that's pedantic. Man, fucking Cheez-Its are so good. I'm gonna go buy Cheez-Its after this. I like the burned ones, you know, the extra burnt ones. Here's the the Crunchwrap, which I thought was usually a hexagon, right? This is a pentagon. Maybe that's to more closely accommodate the Cheez-It. And it does feel like the Cheez-It is sogged up quite a bit, which makes sense because it's kind of steaming in this little package. So in the Crunchwrap, you don't really get it. The flavors really overtake, especially like the bready flavors of the tortilla. They really overtake like everything that the Cheez-It gives you. And then the texture's not there because it's softened. I think part of like why Cheez-Its taste so good and like why they like really work is because when you chew them up, it makes this kind of pasty Cheez-It sludge, for lack of a better term. And that kind of sticks in your mouth and it sits there. And then it's like cheese, salt, cheese, salt. So I think if you want to successfully integrate Cheez-Its into a dish, you want the Cheez-It to be enough. You want it to be like a sandwich. So the Cheez-It is on the outside of the filling. And then I think you also want to have the ratio such that there's enough Cheez-It to stay in your mouth and not get kind of like wiped out by the other pieces, the other food items that are part of the meal. Because like even with the tostada, when you scraped off the tostada, you got more of that, the Cheez-It kind of sticking around. But when it's in this, or even with the fully loaded tostada that I didn't scrape off, like the beef and the meat and the lettuce, they kind of move around your mouth and they kind of like pull and they stick to the Cheez-It, and that kind of pulls it off your mouth. And that's, I think, maybe part of why you don't get as heavy on the Cheez-It. I don't know. I should send this to Taco Bell. You know, I'm sure they could study this for decades. You get a little bit of the toastiness of the Cheez-It. That's kind of the main flavor I think you get out of it, is this toastiness as opposed to like real cheese. But I like a Crunchwrap, but I don't think I'll finish this. And now finally, the freaking Cantina taco. Yeah, the crispy chicken is not great or even good. The breading is pretty thin. The kind of breading that makes me go like, well, if you're doing this, why even have like, you know, crispy chicken? Like, why even fry the chicken if that's all you're going to get out of it? It's barely more than, you know, grilled chicken. It's not like grilled chicken's bad. So it is fried. It's just a pretty thin, lackluster breading, and then it gets quite sogged up by the sauce and the tomatoes and stuff. And so then if it's all soft, it's again like, well, then it doesn't even really taste fried, right? So it's like, if you're gonna give me the calories of a fried piece of chicken and then it doesn't hit like fried chicken, then it's just wasted calories. Man, I'm so fat. I wonder why. Who knows why I'm so fat? So that's a miss. I'd say this tostada is the best one, but you know, don't feel bad skipping this. Just get a box of Cheez-Its. Honestly, I want to say the tostada was like $2.50, like $3. Like, you could get a box of Cheez-Its for not much more than that, right? And eat that in the whole sitting. That'd be better. But, you know, it's not bad. I'm glad I tried it, because this is the only joy in my life, is finding new promotional and limited time items on fast food. So there you go. Now get the fuck out of here.